Good morning there, students. It is Tuesday morning for you. It's Monday night while I'm recording this. I'm not going to be teaching you on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, so today, tomorrow, or the next day. I might drop by school. If I do, I'm going to do it unannounced, and I'm just going to walk in the classroom to see whether or not you're working or if you're being respectful. But I'm not going to be there. I have some family stuff going on. So I'm going to create this video lesson, and it's probably going to be about 10 or 15 minutes, so get comfortable. But important is that you're really paying attention, because your work that you're going to be doing is going to be based off of this lesson. Okay, so what you see right here, and you don't have to take notes or anything, just kind of kick back and watch, and if you have a question, you can pause the video at any time and you can ask one of your classmates, or you can ask the substitute, and hopefully get some clarification. So what we've got here is we have this right here is called our x-axis. It goes side to side. This right here is called our y-axis. It goes up and down. So if I had something like this, then on the x-axis I would go over 1, 2 and put a point there. And if I had this, then on the y-axis I would go 1, 2, 3. And the reason I went down is because it was negative. Okay, so this is positive over here, this is positive over there. That's negative on the x, that's negative on the y. So if I had this, it's written as x comma y. So that tells me that I go 2 on the x and then negative 3 on the y. So I would go 1, 2 and then down 3. 1, 2, 3. So this one is here. This one is here. But this one is there. Okay? This is the one that's combined. So let me delete some of that. And I'm sure that at some point you've seen an x and y axis before. So we're just going to look at the way that we would put points on here for this equation right here. 2x plus 3y equals 9. We're only working with this equation. What I'm about to do is not for every equation. And as you can see on the next page, we have a different equation. But right now we're going to work with this equation. So I'm going to put an x here and a y here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 numbers. I'm going to take 3 numbers and I'm going to put those 3 numbers into the equation for x. And then I'm going to find out what I get for y. I think it'll make more sense if I just do it. I'm going to put in a 0. So I'm going to write 2x plus 3y equals 9. Now instead of writing x right here, I'm going to substitute 0 in. I'm going to put that 0 in there. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and do a little work. 2 times 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 3y. Well, if I have nothing and then I add 3 bagels, I have 3 bagels. So 3 times a number equals 9. 3 times a number equals 9. So I divide by whatever that number is. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And we know that 1y is just like 1 car, which is just a car. Y equals 3. So if x equals 0, y equals 3. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Now, why did I not go side to side at all? Because it was a 0. I didn't go side to side because it was a 0. So I told you that I'm going to put in 3 different numbers for x. So here's another one that I'm going to put in. I'm going to pick a negative number, and I'll pick negative 3. Now, I know you're going to ask, does it matter which number we pick? No, not at all. You could pick any 3 numbers. I could have picked Negative 2 million if I wanted to. Okay, so what is 2 times negative 3? Well, 2 negative 3's is negative 6. All right, a little bit more challenging this time because on the last one we had a 0. But on this one we have negative 6. So what's the opposite of negative 6? The opposite of negative 6 is positive 6. Remember, this is like a scale. I'm trying to keep my scale balanced. And so if I add 6 on this side of the scale, I need to add 6 on that side of the scale also. Negative 6 and positive 6, they equal 0. 9 plus 6, 15. Well, we know 0 plus 3y, and that's the last time I'm going to write the 0. I'm not going to do that anymore. And then I divide by 3. And this is the last time I'm going to write the 1 in front of the y. I'm not going to do that anymore because y equals 5. I don't need to write 1y because 1y is the same as just y. So my point is negative 3, 5. So I'm going negative on the x-axis. Negative on the x-axis. 1, 2, 3. And then I go positive on the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. So far I've got 2 points. I'm looking pretty good. Well, personally I think I'm always looking pretty good, but that's another story. And why not keep things symmetrical? Let's pick positive 3. Two times 3 is 6. This 6 is positive, so I do the opposite. 6 minus 6 is 0. I told you I wouldn't write it anymore. 9 minus 6 is 3. So what do? I divide. Divide by 3. Y equals 1. So my point is 3 comma 1. 3 comma 1. Over 3, 1, 2, 3, up 1. Remember, I always go 3 and then 1. I always go 3 and then 1. I always go x and then y. So I went 3 on the x, 1, 2, 3 on the x, and then 1 on the y. Up 1. Up 1 on the y. So, as you'll notice, those 3 dots happen to be in a straight line. That is not a coincidence. It is supposed to happen like that. This equation forms a line. Let me thin that line out a little bit for you. All right. And the reason I wanted to thin that out is because I purposely picked 0, negative 3, and positive 3 because I knew that they would work nice and conveniently for me. But what if I do this? What if I pick 2? Oops, let me write the whole equation out for you. So I plug my 2 in there. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 3y equals 9. Subtract 4. Nine minus 4 is 5. Let's see, divide by 3. Y equals 5/3. Well, 5/3. Isn't that a little tricky? Well, let's see what we got. We're going to take that, we're going to put that on a new page. And I need 5/3. And I'm going to, of course, use my rectangles to help me understand fractions. So let's see, thirds. Thirds, this is 5 thirds. That's 5. Oops, 5. I was thinking fifth. 5. Oops, sorry, I'm tired. 5 thirds. I need 5 thirds, and so a third looks like this. So there's 1/3, there's 2/3, there's 3/3. 3/3 makes a whole. One whole rectangle. But I need 5 thirds. There's 3, but I need 5 thirds. So I need 2 more thirds. Four, 5. There's 5 thirds. And let's color them in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thirds. So what do I really have? Well, we said I already had a whole. So I have a whole and 1, 2, 2 thirds. So 5 thirds is really 1 and 2 thirds. And 2 thirds is not all the way up to the next one, but it's past halfway. It's past halfway, but it's not all the way up. So what do I do? How do I graph that? Well, I'm going to go over 2. 1, 2. And then I'm going to go up 1 and 2 thirds. And remember, 2 thirds is not all the way, but it's past halfway. Up 1, all the way would be there. Halfway would be there. So it's, look, it's on the line. 1 and 2 thirds. And we could blow that up. That didn't work. Let's try that again. Oh, okay. I think what we want to do is this. Nope. Let's try that again. There we go. All right, so remember I went over 2, 1, 2, and then I went up 1. Up 2 would have been up here. Halfway would have been like here. So we were a little bit past 1 and 2 thirds. So like I said, I purposely picked some numbers that I knew would work. But in case you pick a number that's a little bit more challenging, like happened with 2, it's okay. Now here's what I want you to do. I do want you to pick 0, I want you to pick one positive number, and I want you to pick one negative number. I hope that all made sense to you. I'm going to do one more. I hope that you can remain patient. I hope that you can keep watching and learn. I'm going to do one more. Oh, an easy one. At least I think so. So here we go. X, Y. We're going to start off picking 0. 0 minus 2y equals -4. Well, you know 0 is just checks out. We don't need it. Okay. Divide by -2. Divide by -2. Why am I dividing by -2? Because I always divide by the same thing. -2 divided by -2 equals 1. I told you I wouldn't write that anymore. Negative over negative is positive. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that's +2. So let's go 0. I'm not going side to side. Up 1, up 2. Okay, cool. Remember, if there was something you didn't understand, just ask the substitute to pause it or to go back 10 seconds or go back 20 seconds. So for my positive number, I'm going to pick 2. Sorry. x minus 2y equals negative 4. 2 minus 2y, that's like this, equals negative 4. So this 2 is positive. I subtract it. Negative 2y equals negative 4 minus 2. If I take away $4, take away 2 more, I've taken away 6. Divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. Chickadee check out, y equals negative 6 over negative 2, positive 3. So I'm going to go over 2 to the right because it's positive, up 3 because it's positive. 1, 2, up 1, 2, 3. Okay, so again, I purposely picked some easy numbers. But now I need to pick my negative number, and I'm going to purposely pick one that's a little bit more challenging. How do I know it's more challenging? Well, I'm Mr. Eckert. I know everything. I'm going to put negative 3 in here. Okay, so the opposite of negative 3 is positive 3. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. How do I know that? Well, let's just do it on a number line. 1, 2, 3, 4. This right here would be negative 4. And if I go plus 3, I'm moving to the right. Positive moves right. 1, 2, 3. Where does that leave me? Negative 1. All right, so I divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. These check out. Y equals negative over negative is positive. 1 over 2 is 1/2. How do I go up 1/2 on this graph, you say? Well, first I go negative 3, so it's to the left. 1, 2, 3, and then I go up 1/2. There's up 1. There's 0. There's 1. There's 0. There's 1. There's 0. There's 1/2 right there. That's about halfway. Probably move it over a little bit. Right there. That looks pretty good. How do I know I did it right? I know I did it right if it falls directly on the line, which it does. Let's thin that out so that you can see it better. There we go. So there's my graph. Now that's what you're going to be doing today, and I just want to remind you, for every one that you do, for every single one that you do, I want you to pick 0, and then I want you to pick one positive number, and I want you to pick one negative number. It does not matter what your one positive and your one negative are. They can be anything. Whether or not your sub is a math teacher, that lesson was pretty self-explanatory, and I think your sub would be able to help. You're also, of course, welcome to help each other out. I hope you guys have a good 3 days. Like I said, I plan on dropping by sometime just to check and see if you're working well or if you're messing around. Good luck with this stuff, and I'll see you soon.